Welcome back, everyone. This is day 11 out of 50 of the SAT Math Prep, and we'll be tackling some more data analysis and problem-solving questions. And just remember, these problems have a lot to do with like wordy math problems and kind of converting it into formulaic expressions. So this first problem, views on nuclear energy use. Always look at the chart. So we have four categories: strongly favor, somewhat oppose, strongly oppose, and then the frequency of each response. A researcher interviewed 411 randomly selected U.S. residents and asked about their views on the use of nuclear energy. The table above summarizes the responses of the interviewees. If the population of the United States was 300 million when the survey was given, based on the sample data for the 411 U.S. residents, what is the best estimate in millions of the difference between the number of U.S. residents who somewhat favor or strongly favor the use of nuclear energy and the number of those who somewhat oppose or strongly oppose it? And then round your answer to the nearest whole number. So when it says round your answer to the nearest whole number, it's really saying to the nearest million because it's the best estimate in millions. So that's really a thing you have to catch on to make the problem a little easier. So we have to find the difference between somewhat favor or strongly favor and somewhat oppose or strongly oppose. So we have two fractions here. And we're going to start with strongly favor or somewhat favor. So this is going to be 56 plus 104 over 411 because that's our total number of responses from the survey. And then this is also going to be over 411, but for somewhat oppose or strongly oppose, 104 plus 37. Oh, what am I doing? This is not 104 over here. This is 214. Don't know where I got that from. So, now, just remember, like in terms of applicability, like real world applicability, this is a survey that's trying to mimic the actual frequency that people have used on nuclear energy use throughout the whole United States population, which is 300 million. So if this is going to give us a ratio or a fraction, and it's asking how much out of that 300 million would it be representing? And I'm writing the word million and not the actual 9-digit number out, is because it's going to give us a bunch of decimal, or not decimals, but numbers, whole numbers we don't want to really deal with since we're only dealing with best estimate in millions. So that allows us to do that. And using our calculator, we can do 56 plus 214, get that answer. So that gives us 270, and then over 411 divided by 411. And then that's going to give you like a fraction. And then multiply that by the 300 million. I'm going to just write mil. And then in your calculator, you can just do 300 times 300. And it's going to give you 197 point something something something, but it says round to the nearest. So it's 0.08, but we would just round this to 197 million. And then, so that's for people who somewhat favor or strongly favor the use of nuclear energy. And then we do the same for this. So 104 plus 37, we get 141 over 411 times 300 mil. And then that's going to give us approximately 411 times 300, no, approximately 103. We get 102.9, but that rounds to 103. And that would be in millions. Now it's asking for the difference. So we get 197 minus 103, and that's equal to 94. And that's our answer, 94 million. And you just put 94 into the calculator. What we really should have done though, so I made a mistake here. I hope that some of you caught on to it. We shouldn't have rounded until after we subtracted. You round at the very end. So right here, it would have been really 141 divided by 411 times 300. And that would have given us like 102.9197. And then we subtract that from this answer, but we're still going to get the same answer. It rounds to the same thing. But just for caution, I would round at the very end. So yeah, 94 is your answer for that one. Okay, looking at the next one. If x over y is equal to 4 and 24x over ny is equal to 4, what is the value of n? So we need to kind of plug in for this question. So I see an x over y here, and I also see an x over y here. I didn't box that very well. Sorry. An x over y here, and also an x over y here. Okay? So now we can plug in, we know that's 4, so this is going to be equal to 4. So you have 24 over n times 4 is equal to 4. And now, what is the value of n? So we can just divide both sides by 4, and we're going to get 1 on this side. It's equal to 24 over n. We multiply n over to this side, and we have n is equal to 24. And that's your answer for that question. This is not a usual like problem solving or data analysis question, but not too difficult. So we'll take it. It's a medium difficulty. Looking at our next problem, we have coat color, eye color, subsection for eye color, and yeah. Okay, so looking at the problem, the data on the coat color and eye color for 48 Himalayan kittens available for adoption were collected and summarized in the table above. What fraction of the chocolate-colored kittens has deep blue eyes? So what fraction of, this is key, these are key words here, because what fraction of, that's going to indicate what our denominator is. So really pay attention to what fraction of whenever that's phrased. I don't know why it made it such bad handwriting, but okay. So what fraction of the chocolate-colored kittens has deep blue eyes? So chocolate, we can just look at this. So our denominator is going to be 16 because that's the total number of chocolate coat-colored kittens. So we have 16 as our denominator, and then deep blue eyes is what we're looking for in the numerator. That's 12, and that's going to be our answer. We don't even have to simplify it because I don't think it simplifies it in the answer. No, it doesn't. That's our answer, 12 over 16. Looking at our last problem quickly, we have a table of just values and frequencies, no really real-world context behind it. The frequency table summarizes 57 data values in a data set. What is the maximum data value in the data set? So maximum data value, you're just looking for the highest value. And it literally tells you data value, so you look in the data value column, and it's already organized for you, which is super neat. And we see it's 14. And your answer is literally just going to be 14. I don't know how in the world this isn't an easy problem. It's a medium problem, apparently. But yeah, your answer is going to be 14. Don't get confused with this frequency column. The frequency column is just how many times the data values appear. So for instance, the data value 6 appears 3 times. The data value 10 appears 9 times. And yeah, I try and do harder problems in these YouTube videos, but apparently this was a medium problem. I try and only work on medium and hard ones, but yeah. I hope this helped. This was one of the easier days for problem sets, and yeah, please subscribe to the